In case you were not aware, this past week, Republicans in the House of Representatives on the Oversight Committee, led by Republican Chairman James Comer, held a press conference Wednesday morning to talk about all of the crimes of the Biden family that they still don't actually have evidence happened, but they're totally sure that it probably exists somewhere. They haven't gotten there yet, but they're not done. Now, the reason you may not have heard about that is because at the very same time this was happening, a man by the name of George Santos was walking into a New York courtroom to surrender himself on the 13-count indictment that he was facing. And honestly, that was probably the best thing in the world that could happen to the Republicans, since the media was hyper-focused on Santos and wasn't paying attention to the fact that they have been wasting the last 5 months and have absolutely nothing to show for it. But that evening, on Fox News, Maria Bartiromo spoke with Republican Senator Ron Johnson. Johnson, of course, being a senator, is not in the House. He's not a part of those investigations. But he did come to the committee's defense by telling the American public that don't worry that they don't have any evidence. What I want you to do is just pretend that Biden has committed crimes. And if you think I'm joking, here is what Ron Johnson, Republican senator from Wisconsin, said on Fox News Wednesday evening. Bartiromo asked him, how do we know that, the Bidens were getting paid for influence peddling? And Johnson responded, on the bank records, you're not going to see bribe to change this policy. You have to infer what's happening here. You're not going to get necessarily hard proof, but there's such a huge body of evidence. We had in September 2020, it was all ignored, it was all denigrated, it was all called Russian disinformation. It's the same playbook of the Democrats, the same playbook of the media that wants to prop up and cover up for the Bidens. So, the media sucks and the Democrats suck. So what we Republicans are asking you to do is just pretend that what we're showing you is evidence of crimes. Like, you have to make believe that the crimes exist. That's what he's telling us when he says you just have to infer that it happened, right? Like, we don't have the evidence. We can't link anything to anybody that's criminal. But if you use your imagination, folks, oh boy, that opens up a whole new world of crimes that they have totally committed. Like, if you use enough imagination, you can somehow link Hunter Biden to every murder in the United States, and then boom, we got him at that point, right? Yeah, you just got to pretend that what we want you to think is real, even though, as we said, we can't prove any of it because there's no evidence to back any of it up. So it's imagination time, folks. That's what Republicans are begging you to do in order to try to paint this administration as somehow criminal. You have to pretend. You have to let go of reality and embrace fiction in order to link President Biden and his family to actual crimes. That's what this Republican senator is telling the public to do. Now, when he's telling you to infer these things, please keep in mind that inferences are never allowed to be used as the basis for criminal charges. Inferences are forbidden in court at trial. It's conjecture. Lawyers will get reprimanded if they attempt to force the jury to make inferences. So not only is he telling you to use make-believe to pretend that crimes exist, but the actual advice that he's giving will also not hold up in court. That is how desperate these idiots are. They know they've got nothing. And honest to God, as I've said repeatedly, I'll say it every time I talk about this, if you've got something, wonderful, charge them. Let's move on. Like, I will not lose a second of sleep if Hunter Biden or President Biden end up getting indicted. That doesn't affect me, okay? But you're literally admitting on national television that you have nothing and that the only way you can have something is if people pretend that crimes exist. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel. We also encourage you to like, comment, and share, but again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.